Hey T, happy birthday. I'm very proud of you, young man, and it's always special to remember a lot of things about the day you were born and how exciting that was for us in Atlanta, Georgia. And then all the years since has been just a gift to all of our family, as well as just to me and your dad. Um, Sarah had a couple of questions. The first one I'm to answer is what was important about where you grew up in that was the first question. And I really think that being in a small town growing up has a lot to do with how you enter the next sections of your life. There's a lot of encouragement for you guys, all three of you, to try different things, whether it was sports, and for you at 2 years old, you were going out and copying what your dad was swinging a tennis racket and how he was doing it and how to hit the ball and with the backboard and things like that. So you always had a great time just entertaining yourself outside. And then being out in the country, it was great when you had friends over because you all could just roam through the woods, build houses however you wanted to build them with sticks and branches and so on and so forth. And then to be able to walk through the woods and go visit your grandparents, I think was such a gift. I had not lived close to my mother or dad's parents, and so I didn't have that availability. And one of the things that was always fun was to be at the Gatewood Seniors table, and then Grandma and Granddaddy would come to our house as well. And just to hear some stories in history, particularly Granddaddy would talk a lot about growing up in Columbus and those years for him. And I just think that sharing of family history was just really special for me to learn a lot about the Gatewood family and living in Georgia and so on. And I think that gives you an opportunity then to be free to do a lot of different things. In America, she could go work on a Habitat houses with your dad and me through the years and be a part of a very special ministry that grew into be a worldwide ministry. So those memories you carried with you, and one of the very pivotal things I think that went on for you growing up was to be able to go to Alpine. And every summer, y'all pack your bags and take your trunks and get on your way for a month at a time. And I just think that has been such a lasting relationship with the people that you met and just a special part of your life. And we just felt so privileged to be able to send you guys to camp and for that special part of your growing up time and your adult time as well for you, going back and working at Alpine and so on. Now, my next question is to say what moment in T's life was really important and made a big difference for the rest of your life. And I think that was deciding to go to Regent. You and Griff went off from Americas in 1999 and went across the country into Canada. And it was just a blessing beyond words. For you, particularly as you studied, and Catherine as well, because that's where you met her. But you all were influenced and really gifted to have such professors that were wise and led you all in just real important parts of your education as you went on in through seminary and then made that decision to go to Scotland. Now, you all got married before you went to Scotland, and then while there, your dad and I had so much fun going to visit. And we welcomed 2 grandchildren into our family there, and that was just a gift beyond words. And our wasn't frequent visits, it was probably about twice a year, but such a gift to be able to go see you all and watch that part of your life. So those decisions to go to Vancouver, and then marriage, and then traveling to Scotland, where you finished your PhD, and then came back to the United States with a family. I love you a bunch. Sarah, I hope this is just exactly what you wanted to happen. And love you a bunch, and thank you for doing this for your dad. Love you a bunch. Bye-bye.
When I think about a moment in T's life that meant a lot and why it's important, I think about Alpine Camp for Boys. I think about T going to camp every summer, where he formed strong relationships with his camp friends, with his counselors, and with the people that ran the camp. And I see that playing a big role in his spiritual life and in the way that he views fun and camp and friendship. And so I do think that Alpine Camp for Boys is an important part of who T. Gatewood is today. Happy birthday, T. Today, I would like to share a life experience that has shaped T into the person he is today. And it has to do with T's deep patience, and it has to do with Lake Blacksher. You can see the Lake Blacksher map behind me. I had this memory of going to Lake Blacksher with T when we were in high school. We could both drive. We took the Gatewood boat down to the boat slip in the state park, and we put it in the water, and it didn't go. And it never went. We had to put it back on the trailer and drive it back to Americus. And I just remember T standing on the side of the shore trying to decide, am I going to have a temper tantrum? I'm not going to be able to go water skiing. I'm not going to be able to go have a fun day on the lake. Or am I going to be a patient, kind, thoughtful teenager and get back into the white blazer with my sister and drive back home with a good attitude? And I just see that point in our sibling relationship as really being a catalyst for patience and growth that now defines T in so many ways in the amazing man that he has become today. Some of the roots of that patience are from Lake Blacksher.
Okay, as his wife, is there a moment in T's life that still brings tears to his eyes, a memory that continues to inspire him every day? The memory that comes to my mind, and I wasn't there, is that he was in the Regent Library one time, and he was walking through the stacks of books, and Dr. Houston, who is this spiritual saint that T got to kind of walk through life with for a particular season, was standing on a ladder getting a book and reached down to T and looked at him and touched his face. And I don't know if he said, "My son," or just looked at him and touched his face. And I think that was a moment that T shaped him in terms of him being seen individually in a way that has really stuck with him. And I would imagine still he can recall and feel in his heart. So that's awesome. As his wife, when you see T standing here today, can you share a moment from his journey, one filled with pain, growth, or love, that truly shaped the man he's become? And the first thing that came to mind to me was when we were living in Scotland, and T wanted to be an academic and thought he wanted to teach. And those doors were shut, and he was super discouraged by that. But I think as I reflect back on it now, I think, wow, I can't imagine T not being a pastor committed to people relationally, but with his mind. And so I think he's become more fully himself in ways that I'm not sure. I mean, it just, I can't imagine him not being a pastor whose mind is informed by how God has made him, but I'm thankful that the door's closed.
So, a life experience that shaped T. Gatewood. There was a time in the North Cascades when we went on this long hike. And for a significant part of that hike, there were black flies everywhere. And they were inside our jackets and our ears and our mouth. and they would not stop. They were relentless. And so I think that just shaped T in just a meaningful way, just to learn how to persevere through extreme annoyance and extreme attack from insects. So gotta be a good thing for your patience. So there was this moment in T's life that meant a lot. At least it meant a lot to me. So over 30 years ago, when I proposed to Anna and we were up on a cliff rappelling, I asked her to marry me, and then we came down from that cliff to Winston-Salem and had a nice time announcing this engagement to T and Griff. And T's response was a little dramatic. He kind of like didn't know what to do with that and said, "This is nuts!" And he like ran out of the room. And I think, you know, that meant a lot. But the good news is 30 years later, we're still married. And yeah, it's been nuts, but it's been good nuts. And we are thankful. And we are thankful to the Lord for 30 years of marriage and 30 years hanging out with T. Gatewood.
Happy birthday! Love you. We wish we were there.
Well, some life experiences that have really shaped T. Gatewood's life are just the mornings playing Yahtzee with Sarah Gatewood and the family, and playing a lot of family favorites too.
And a moment that was very important to you was the birth of me. And why it was important is because it was your son being born. Happy birthday!
As his daughter, what moment means the most to him and why? I think every time, every moment of the day, no matter what, he loves his daughter, no matter what. Whenever I come home from school to come see you at the study center, I can just light in my day every time I see you. Every moment I have in my life comes from you. I love that. Lord Sayaski. As his daughter, what moment served my dad the most? I think I would say whether I am hot with a boo-boo, you always saw for me whether I fall, like in the past, like my knees, with that mommy dad. I remember you were my taxi for that day. When my knees were hot, I can't walk. So I recommend, and I love you, Dad. That moment in my life, you're the man I look up to every day after that moment of the past. I love you, and I think whether I feel something to my heart, I know we're within you. I love you, Dad.
Something that I find so fun about T is that I think his dad humor really shines through in all of his relationships at the study center. You know that he's a dad and that he loves making those dad jokes, and it's always fun to be on the receiving end of those.
My favorite thing about T as director here at the study center is how intentional he is. When he walks in the house, whether it's like a morning shift or whether I'm there in the afternoon, he will be intentional in asking me about how I'm doing or how my day was, or if I've communicated something to him, he'll check back in. So I think I feel very seen by T.
One last question. How do you think I'm the correct director's daughter?
Something about the director's daughter? What we love about her?
Yes,
She's-
I love you,
she's
love
slay.
T, I love me.
Should we say it at the same time? What you just said?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
She's slay.
That's good. Hi, Dad. I love you. What life experience have South T carried into the person he is today?
What life experience? Wait,
That was mine.
Okay, Jordan, go.
So, T often talks about the story about when he was a lowly pledge at the Sigma Chi fraternity at Wake Forest University. He, the only thing he learned was how to pack a cooler. And I think that was a formative life experience for T because he still does it today at the study center, but he also is able to extract meaning and value from any kind of experience.
The second question is, what is the moment of T. Gadget's life that means a lot to him, and why was he so funny?
All right, so one of my T. Gatewood favorite stories is the moment that he realized that Catherine Gatewood was competitive. I think they were playing tennis, and he liked how hard she hit the ball. He found that very appealing. I think that's a great thing to build a marriage on, that sense of edge, and they're a very good pair. So it was a good.
Okay, one fact about T.
One fun fact about T.
Yeah.
Okay, one fun fact about T is that he's always willing to be interrupted, and he's always willing to have a deep conversation at the drop of a hat.
Thank you, we love you, T.
Love you too.
Happy birthday!